I feel people think Sikkim is the land where you see snowfall, ice peaks and everything. The real beauty of Sikkim is the monsoons because it has that freshness to it. A place where 8 months of heavy rainfall. It is so vital to design the form in terms of a rainy place. I'm architect Bharat from Make Sense Designs. Today we are here to talk about the Lepcha Abode in Pelong. For detailed chapters and PDF ebook, please visit buildofire.com. This project is located in a remote village on the opposite mountain of Gangtok in a village called Pelong. The build-up started with like around 1500 square foot, but in our process of design, it grew to almost 2000 square feet. So the first meeting we had a concept meeting saying let's do a modern version of an old traditional Lepcha house. What is Lepcha? What do they do? They are the indigenous people of Sikkim and how they have been like away from religion. They are nature worshippers.
So culturally, if you see, frankly speaking, so we are not. What I felt was like we are not contributing so much in terms of our culture to my people and all. So this is a small gesture to like show my contributions.
So that led to the first principle, which was to live in harmony with nature. Sunlight is the true luxury in a place like this, especially for a high altitude region like Sikkim. So we took advantage of that sunlight and then tried to play with it in a way that will create character. The second principle that we followed was learning from the ancestors. And in that we came across the old Lepcha houses in which we found that they are built on stilts and they have a typical 9-post grid. So yeah, the site was sloping down towards the forest and an existing stream was flowing. Taking all this into consideration, we decided to build the building in 2 levels as well as having the approach from the road. Then as per concept, we divided this zone into 9 posts. Now all the spaces had access to the garden as the retaining walls were created. We had an approach from below the road to enter the building into this porch area. So the client didn't want this porch area to be walled. Here the local traditional ikra walls used to be there in older houses. But instead of doing walls like that, what we did was we did a modern version of it with sort of steel frames holding the roof also, at the same time creating this wall frame. And in between the frames, we sort of again added character using bamboo sandwiched between a cement board. The interiors, we have done these weaves which are again having the symbols of arrow tips, which is similar to the Lepcha symbols. And then from the outside we have used claddings of bamboo like bricks. Now entering this porch, you come straight to the main double volume and then with the deck overlooking the garden. The spatial curation of this living room was the tree. So these were the front roadside facade as well as the western side, and we wanted the afternoon filtered light to come in without ruining the privacy. So that gave us the opportunity to have some material that would allow the light to come as well as keep the privacy. We took the symbols of Lepcha, especially 2 symbols which are like the armor and the stylized butterfly, and tried to create these patterns alternatively. Through this double volume was the access to the kitchen, and then beyond that was the more private space of the master bedroom. So when we were doing this roof, we got extra space above the kitchen, which was then converted and attached to this master bedroom as an attic level. And we had a mezzanine in the hall with the railings. This was the staircase leading down. Initially it was planned as a narrow space, but then we got the space from these columns, so it expanded into a larger hallway room, which leads to these two guest bedrooms. As well as these rooms take advantages of the morning sun and the garden view. Another interesting aspect happened was the basement, which were usually kept very low level, we sort of raised them to a usable level of 6 feet, and which in turn turned out to be a usable multifunctional area. Now, adding to the character, we studied the Lepcha symbols in their dresses. Now, the use of intricate bamboo knots, we used it very subtly in the railings of the balcony, and the use of smoke again comes into the railings of the bedrooms. The overall material palette again came from the three principles. Okay, like putting wood where you touch it on a daily basis made more sense, and number two was to give it in a feel of like retaining the heat inside the house. And in the process of doing the house, I came across such beautiful woods of Sikkim, from panisas, from black series that was used in the olden houses, and then the duppi, that it has a very unique pinkish tone in this region especially, and playing with them, understanding them, where to use what, was like extremely like interesting. So the interior is curated along with the architecture, which is a very heavy nod to Bava style of building. The biggest takeaway from designing this house was like the opportunity to continue living in Sikkim, and like really anchoring my spirits on like, yeah, we can do this, and we can like make something that is quite unique and quite interesting, and something that can take a lifetime of mastering, and that I felt like has directed my life further. So I really liked, and this is one of my close projects.